Hey, Wilhelm, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the Back to Your Future interview series. It's a social experiment. I'm going to interview you now and then again each year for the next 5 years to see whether your life changes dramatically, whether it kind of goes in the direction of travel that you're hoping it will, or just what's going to happen. So thank you for agreeing to this. Now, you live in Sweden, obviously. You're not in lockdown. We're in the UK and lockdown, so different approach in Sweden. And yeah, so you went across a bit about your backstory. You can go into more detail on this, but you basically went to study in the States and then realized not just because of the cost of each semester, like $17,000, I think you said, but not just the expense, the fact that you didn't believe in what the education you were going to get was going to give at the end of it. So you then came back to Sweden and felt like you needed a higher purpose or whatever, got into the online space, and here we are. So do you want to dive in a bit more detail about that then, and what brought you to the online affiliate marketing, and you're a funnel builder as well. So what, a bit more in depth around that, please.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for having me, Martin. It's really, really exciting. I think it's a really fun and educational project that you're working on here. So very honored to be on here with you. Yeah, so I'm 22 years old now, and in the summer of 2017, I decided to study abroad in the US and play soccer there. Meanwhile, I thought it was a really good chance for me to be playing soccer at the same time and be getting a good education. And I studied for about a half a year in the US. And I realized during that time, I was having a great time. I was enjoying myself. I was having great friends. I was doing well with my soccer. I was doing better than I ever have in school before. But I really felt that was like looking down the future for myself in that 9 to 5, getting that college degree. And yeah, like you said, 17,000 for each semester. That was a lot of money for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, really looking through that lens of my future, I realized that this wasn't what I wanted for myself. I couldn't see myself going for a 9 to 5, getting promoted, after 5 years, getting another level entry or level job, I just couldn't see that for myself. And I've always felt that I want to be doing more than that. And I decided to drop out. And that was a huge, huge decision for me, because attending college in the US, coming from Sweden, attending in the US abroad, that was a huge commitment for me. Lots of money, lots of support from my family and friends, of course. And dropping out of college was a very tough call, because I wasn't sure what my friends were going to think about me. Like, oh, look at that failure. He was going to study in the US, and now he's back only half a year later. Wow, that's weird. So bunch of crazy things going on in my head at the time. But I decided that's what I needed to do, because I didn't want to study in the US anymore, study at all anymore. So I decided to drop out of college and become an entrepreneur. And yeah, I came into the online space because that's something I had been looking on, like online marketing for during college and a little bit ahead of time, ahead of college. I was looking at different courses and stuff. It just kind of fascinated me. So I decided to drop out, go all in for it. And for the first year, I absolutely failed. I failed massively. I tried running an agency here in Sweden. I tried doing design jobs. I know a little bit of Photoshop. I tried doing some freelancing. And then I really, really tried for like half a year. Or not really half a year. I really tried e-commerce and drop shipping. And that's where I made my first dollar online, but I never became profitable. I was basically listening to all of the gurus. I was saying, run paid ads to this, create your offer, create your website, just run paid ads to it and you'll be all good. We got the tips for you here. Just make sure you use them. And it didn't really work out, because I didn't know a lot of paid ads, because I'd taken these courses by the gurus saying, do this. And it's not really a fair playing field. They got millions and thousands in their ad budget, and they got experts in their team running their ads. And there's not really a fair chance for us new guys coming into it trying to run paid ads. So I failed for the first year massively until I ran into affiliate marketing, and until I really invested into a software company called ClickFunnels, where I built my websites. And that's when I first became profitable online, because I didn't have to spend a lot of money up front. And I realized through my mentor, Doug, that I could actually do this organically, meaning without paid ads. So I basically had to spend no money up front, and still I was able to make money by promoting other people's products. So that's a bit of my backstory.
Nice, very good. I love it. And obviously, I use ClickFunnels as well, and it's an amazing tool. And there's a really good tribe of people that are making a real good success with ClickFunnels as well. So you're a funnel builder. The first question, in the online space, there are so many people doing it now. What are the huge mistakes that you see people doing with their adverts, with their marketing, their email lists, and just when they connect with other people? What are the mistakes that you see happening?
Yeah, so first of all, I see a ton of people quit before they even get started or get a fair chance. Like myself, I almost quit like after a year because I had no idea what to do. And I was listening to all the gurus, like running paid ads and such. And I thought I was just too bad. I thought I was a failure, dropping out of college and then trying this, listening to all the gurus, listening to exactly what they had to say, really implementing what was in the courses and what they were saying. And still I was failing. And I realized it's not because I was bad, it's because I wasn't given a fair chance. And most people try to run paid ads and they fail before they quit before they even given a fair chance of trying to do it organically, which how most people, almost all people who are successful start out at first, because you don't have a huge budget to back your business up with. And then another thing I see is a lot of people they just go straight for the money. Like, how can I make most amount of money out of this group of people? Like, how can I use them? How can I take their money and grab it for my own? And that's really like, it's obvious. That's not the way you want to go about things. You want to really go for the relationship and creating that relationship, trying to figure out, okay, how can I give the most amount of value to this group of people? And then once some of them have engaged, how can I interact with them even more and keep helping them, sliding into the DMs, keep helping them, trying to figure out what their struggles are, what their problems are, and creating a long-lasting relationship. Because once they know, like, and trust you, which we've heard so many times, they're so much more willing to buy from you. And that's really that's the message I really want to get across. Like, create the relationships and don't chase the money, because the money will come once you create that relationship with them.
Yeah, love that. And we hear it so many times, but we still see the same people making the same mistakes as you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to mix up some fun questions with some business questions as well. Next question is, you're 22. Do you even know what dial-up internet is?
Dial-up internet? I have no idea what that is.
So in the modern world, we have super fast broadband with like gigabits of data transfer and that. So back in the day when I got on the internet for the first time, I've been in IT now 30 years since time began, really longer than you've been alive.
Yeah.
And what used to happen is your connection in your home phone used to dial up, and you used to hear all the tones of it connecting at each end. And then it would say, you get an icon on your computer saying it's connected, and the speeds were just ridiculously slow. It was fine for email and stuff, but you could not stream any video. It's absolutely hilarious.
Actually never heard about that. That's quite interesting.
Cool, right? We take things for granted now with super fast broadband.
For sure.
Cool. Okay, so next question then. So what are your business predictions for 2020? Now, I started the year off with high hopes of the economy and all of the rest of it. I was a little bit nervous of the UK economy and because of Brexit and stuff, but with coronavirus now, it's set the world back. The world's in turmoil. It's a really crazy place, and economies are in turmoil. So what are your predictions for the rest of 2020 now?
Yeah, so, I mean, really the first thing I took out of this and what I noticed is because so many people are losing their jobs or they're put on vacation for the time being, like that 9-to-5 job that we thought were so secure, that I was going down myself. We now realize that 9-to-5 job is not really that secure that we thought it was, right? Like, things happen, like pandemic like this, crazy things can happen, and people lose their jobs. And we've really realized that 9-to-5, hopefully people have realized that 9-to-5 is not really as secure as we thought it might be. And not to like put a shame on those people. Those are the people who make the world go around, and I have huge respect for them. I mean, my parents, myself, are 9-to-5 people. I just think, what I think is crazy is that most people are not taught the other option. People are not taught that 9 to 5, that's not the only option. Like when I was dropping out of college, I was so scared because I wasn't sure that like that was a real thing, trying to make money online. Although I seeing all these gurus doing, I wasn't like sure if that's something a normal people like I could do, person like I can do. And I think the thing that's wrong with society and education is that we're not really taught the other option because it's so new, so you can't really blame it. But there's another option, and it's like being an entrepreneur, or not really an entrepreneur, but making money on your own. You don't have to go down a 9 to 5 path. There's so many options right now to make money online or to make money on the side that we are not taught, and it's a shame because if we're not educated about it, then we're only ignorant to it. It's a shame, really. So I think that's something I really want people to take out of this crisis we're going through right now.
Yeah, so like you just alluded to as well, it doesn't have to be a shit or bust type approach. You can dive in with your kind of kid gloves on first and go in slowly, and then work out exactly which direction you're going to go in a part-time basis while you're still working the 9 to 5. And actually, I've got an IT consultancy for my daytime job, and I love it. So I'm not going to give that up until I've got a position where actually, yeah, I'd like to give it up and continue with just the online coaching and mentoring stuff instead. So yeah, we've got options out there.
For sure, that's how most people do it, and that's how I would advise you do it, because like you don't have to be crazy like me dropping out of college. That was a huge decision. Having a job and then trying this thing on the side in the meantime, and trying to build it up, trying to understand the fundamentals of it. That's a great opportunity, and I really hope more people realize that it's an option.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so the next question is, do you think people should go deep into a single subject or broad across many different things? So for example, let's take Facebook. They should dive just into Facebook, one single platform, learn that and use that for their marketing, for their businesses? Or do you think they should be across all of the social media platforms? And what are your opinions on whether people need to dive in deep on a single subject? I mean, you tried e-commerce and Shopify, and obviously it didn't work for you, but there's a lot of people out there that are making a success of it. So that's not to say that it's not going to work, but it just wasn't for you. So, what are your opinions on the approach that people could or should take?
Yeah. So first off, like the first thing you have to do when you're trying out something new is not going into that thing and thinking, okay, this is the only thing that's like, this is what's gonna make me, this is what's gonna be successful for me. Like if I fail at this, then I gotta go back to my 9 to 5 or whatever, And that's kind of what I thought about running an agency first here in Sweden. Like I was actually at a meeting, and this older, more successful business person was like, okay, I find it really interesting with young entrepreneurs, and maybe this thing won't be the thing that makes you successful, but you'll find something else out of this. I'm like, dude, shut up. I know what I'm doing here. This is what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life. I'm loving this. And that was not the case, obviously. And you have to try different things. Like you have to try your methods, your framework, until you find what's right for you. So definitely try different things and different business models, different approaches and such. But once you find what you really, really like, and once you get started with something, I would definitely suggest trying to do one platform or one strategy at the time, until you got enough, like you made enough money from it to hire someone else to do some of the bit for you. I would definitely, like, I'm mostly on Facebook right now, and Facebook groups and such. That's where I go. And if I would have focused on YouTube, on Quora, on Pinterest, on podcasting, all that different kind of stuff, I would be shifting my focus strictly from Facebook, where I'm keeping 100% of my focus, to now splitting that focus. I would be focusing 50% on Facebook, 50% on something else. And when is the last time you saw someone successful focusing 50% on what they do?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Totally get that. And yeah, people do try and spread themselves too thin because they see it's shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
People see Instagram's working for this person, so they jump onto Instagram. YouTube's working for this person, so let me try that myself. But yeah, you're doing the right thing, I think. So yeah, love that answer. Okay, so the next question is, there's a lot of people out there that I follow on social media and on YouTube, and the likes of Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, all of those kind of people, Russell Brunson, obviously, who we love. Are there entrepreneurs out there that you follow intently and really hang off everything that they say.
Yeah. So you mentioned him there, Russell Brunson, really, the co-founder of ClickFunnels. I got a sticker right here on my laptop that says, "Do what Russell says," and I really try to do everything that Russell says. That's kind of a phrase we have in the ClickFunnels community, and he's truly one of the most brilliant internet marketers of our time right now. And I try, like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel yourself. You don't have to try to invent something new. You only have to find out what's working, model what they're doing, like those successful people, model what they're doing, and create your own piece of it, really. So yeah, I do model Russell Brunson very intensely.
I mean, you've just been promoting his Traffic Secrets book as well. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I'm waiting for my copy. And we've been going through some trainings in your group, which are phenomenal as well. The stuff that you're covering from the book is absolutely, gold dust. So if people are waiting for the book, they should join your group just to listen to the trainings ahead of getting the book. So yeah, he's done a great job with the .com Secrets book, the Expert Secrets book, which I'm going through at the moment before the Traffic Secrets book comes. So like you say, he's one of the best out there, and it's all practical advice as well, isn't it? Because there are other people out there that have good motivation. They can motivate you, but there's no practicality behind it. Whereas with Russell, in all of his books, there's diagrams, there's examples of exactly what you need to do at each step.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what's so brilliant about him. And he was writing this book on traffic. It's a subject that changes like every single day almost, all these different tactics and Facebook ads and Instagram ads, Google ads. And he's like, how do I write a book about traffic, which is changing all the time, that's evergreen? And he's really done that. He's come out with a brilliant book, which is truly evergreen, focusing on the strategies and focusing on things that have been working for hundreds of years as marketers, and implementing that online. And it's a great book.
And you actually went to funnel hacking, didn't you?
Yeah, that's where I got that church.
Yeah, look at this. And I was all ready to book my ticket for this year, but I couldn't make it. So yeah, I'll definitely be there next year, and hopefully we'll get together and meet in person.
Yeah, I would love that.
Cool. Okay, so the next fun question is then, if there was a room full of people, I mentioned Tony Robbins earlier on, the king and queen of Sweden, Donald Trump, Gandhi, who would it be that you would love to meet if you had 1 hour with that person?
Yeah, so out of that list, it would definitely be Tony Robbins. He was actually at Funnel Hacking Live, like you mentioned. He was here. He was there for the last day. He spent a few hours with us. That was the most breathtaking and outstanding experience of my life, honestly. It was incredible experience with Tony Robbins. So I would love to spend an hour with him, pick his brain, trying to figure out how I can experience more things in my life, how I can have higher level of impact in my life. Outside of that list though, but it would definitely be Tony on that list. Outside of that list, I would love to meet Elon Musk. He's someone I really admire as well.
Yeah, he's absolutely crazy business savvy. It's just so much to learn from these people. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. My list is endless, really. If it was just 1 hour with these people. Okay, so the next question is, what's the worst bit about being a work-from-home entrepreneur? I know lots of people promote this kind of laptop lifestyle where they show you on a beach working from the laptop, and it all sounds amazing. But literally, if you could see my setup and your setup there, it's a desk, it's got cameras, it's got stands, tripods, all of that kind of stuff, microphones, and you need to be on the computer creating stuff as well. So is it the loneliness? What's the worst bits for you of being that work from home entrepreneur?
I would say the hardest bit is probably the discipline. And that's probably what most people will struggle with as they're going into it, because you're used to going to school, you're used to going to a job where you always got someone watching you or telling you what to do. If you're doing this on your own by your laptop, then you have to decide what you're going to do, what's the best thing to do for you. And sometimes you're going to be wrong. Sometimes you're not going to know what to do. And that's hard. And once you figure out what you want to do, it's all about the discipline, trying to, I got to wake up at this time. I got to be hustling for these hours and really doing that and not getting distracted. I mean, especially if you're on your laptop, there's so many things distracting you, like working on Facebook, like me. I easily get lost in just scrolling the news feed. So I would say discipline is the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur. And yeah, like you mentioned, the lifestyle, laptop lifestyle. Um, all you see on Instagram, on Facebook, it's all highlights. So it's not really that glamorous all the time, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I totally love that, the discipline side of things, because as you say, we've got 500 things in the home and around the home and in normal life that takes you away from the focus that you need. And whenever I'm talking to someone from the first time and coaching someone, I always say, have you got a business plan? Do you know what your long-term goal is for what you're trying to do? And then we break that down into like the next 12 months and then into the next 6 months, 3 months, 1 month. Okay, what are you going to do this week? Because if you don't know what you're going to do each week, then you are going to get lost. And if you don't set yourself those deadlines, you're going to get lost in that Facebook scroll or wherever.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true. That's a great tip.
Yeah, have a plan. Right. Okay. So next question then. How far do you want to go with this business? Is it you're happy to stay at kind of a one-man band type thing with a couple of VAs, or would you like to scale it so that you're like the next Russell Brunson with software as a service, or where do you want to go with this?
Yeah, so my short-term goal right now is, so obviously I still live in Sweden. I would love to travel the world as much as I can, staying at different places. What you mentioned there, the laptop lifestyle. I would love to, yeah, basically visit all the places in the world which I would love to visit, and I should also have family in New Zealand, so I would love to spend summer there, or more summers there. I've been there once, so I would love to visit them more and really experience more cultures and visit different places in the world. That's my short-term goal. And my long-term goal I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I really realized that I want to have a greater impact. Like you mentioned, that mean traveling and stuff, that's, like you said, one man band. I would love to have more of an impact. And right now, quite frankly, I'm not 100% sure what that looks like. All I know is I really want to have a deep impact. And I look towards the idols, the Russell Brunsons, the Tony Robbins, all the smaller people as well that are quite huge in the ClickFunnels community and such. And I really get inspired by them, and I want to take different pieces of what they're doing into what I'm going to be creating and have an impact through my business in the future.
Nice, I like that impact. And you've not mentioned money once, which says a lot about you as well. Like you said right from the start, obviously money is what we're trying to achieve in the long run, but that will come if you build those relationships and you've got enough to give to the people that you're serving.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Cool. Okay, so this is called the Back to Your Future series. And so you are where you are now, which is going in a great direction. What do you think it's going to look like in 1 year from now, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 years? It kind of segues from the previous question. Where do you want to go with it? Are you going to be a multinational, multi-organization, country organization? What does 1 year from now look like? And then what does kind of 5-year landscape look like?
Yeah, so in the ClickFunnels community, we have something called the Dream Car Award, which is basically once you refer 100 people to ClickFunnels, they sign up, they use their ClickFunnels account. ClickFunnels pays $500 a month towards leasing your dream car. So once you get 200 referrals, it's $1,000 a month towards your dream car, and that's really a sought after award in the ClickFunnels community, and not a lot of people have it. So that's in 1 year, that's where I'll be. I'll be having my dream car. I'll be driving my Tesla Model S down the road. As I mentioned, I'm a fan of Elon Musk. So I'll be having my dream car award by, in a year from now. That's where you'll see me. And then from 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, my next goal after that is to hit what we call in ClickFunnels community the 2 comma club, meaning you have 2 commas in your paycheck, meaning $1 million. You've earned $1 million through your funnel/website. So that's how I'm not 100% sure right now how I will achieve that. I'm not sure what my program or my course or whatever I'll be creating will look like, but I know that's my next goal. I want to hit that 2 comma club award and make that $1 million and really have an impact, like I mentioned earlier, on people. And I'm not quite sure how I'll do that yet, but I believe it's tied to what I'm doing right now with affiliate marketing, maybe teaching people how to do that organically, which I'm doing right now, but on a bigger scale.
Nice, love that. And yeah, it'll be interesting in 1 year and each year to look back at what you have achieved and whether it's different, because you might get to that 2 comma in a shorter space of time, or you might kind of bust it and go into a different direction. Who knows? And that's the exciting thing about this social experiment, really. So yeah,
Yeah.
love that answer. Okay, so we're on to the final question then. What's the best place for people to reach you online and get in touch? Where can they connect with you?
Yeah, so the best place right now would honestly be Facebook. And I've got my Facebook group for anyone, like you mentioned, for anyone interested in affiliate marketing and want to learn more about it and get started organically without paid ads. I would love to have you. It's called CF Affiliate Marketing for Beginners. But honestly, the best place to connect with me is just on my personal profile, which is Wilhelm Winald, just like my name. Just send me a friend request, shoot me a message. That would be the best place.
Cool, love it. And I'll put the links in the show notes as well, where I'm going to post this on my social media so people can connect with you and find you. You're doing an awesome job, man. I love it. And I'm really excited to look in 1 year's time. And obviously, we will talk over the coming weeks and months, because I want to keep following your traffic secrets presentations and learning from that as well before I get my book. So thank you so much for this, Wilhelm. And I'll catch up with you really soon.
Thank you very much for having me, Martin. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to connect and do another one in a year.
Thanks. See you later.
Thank you.